Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, and innovation come together. My name is Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Daisy Hill, the co-CEO and co-founder of Zish. Daisy, great seeing you, and welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
Yeah, thank you, Effie. I'm great. Yeah, I'm really good. Excited to talk to you. Came into this off the basis of a few crowdfunding campaigns that we've done over the years, which I know is a big passion of yours. But we're so much more than that. So I'm super excited to let
Great.
you know a little bit more about the impact that we're having at Zish.
Great, well, welcome and great seeing you. You look great, by the way. So let's get started with some conversation here. This is a short format conversation we do with Bold Talks. For people who are not aware of Zish, give us an overview of what Zish is, your journey, and what inspired you to start Zish.
Absolutely. So, Zish, we are the force behind Quizalize. Quizalize is a personalized AI-driven learning platform that gives teachers the superpowers to make a difference to each and every student. So we're well on our way to achieving our mission. We have paying users in over 82 countries. Teachers have created over 1.5 million resources on our platform for other teachers to discover and use. And we've already helped over 12 million students progress. But, it does genuinely feel like we're just getting started and that there's so much more to do. The reason I do this, I actually come from a family of teachers. So my grandma was a teacher. Some of my earliest memories are going into the classroom with my grandma, watching her teach. She was a specialist in students with learning difficulties, and I think the just to see the impact that she could have as a teacher
Mm.
on helping those students overcome real kind of barriers in education was really inspirational. And I have a lot of other educators in my family, and I've always worked in tech, but after a decade in tech, I decided to go into the classroom. So, I wanted to have the impact that I'd seen people having in my family. And as soon as I got into the classroom, just, on my training before, starting as a full-time teacher, I just saw so much in the classroom that I felt could be solved with, some of the great technology that I had seen. And this is 7 years ago. There was nothing in the classroom then. There was an interactive whiteboard that was basically a compute. It just pens had replaced on chalk, and there
Yeah.
was hardly anything. At the same time, I would see teachers struggling with the burden of trying to create content for their students, trying to understand hundreds of students' learning gaps. And so at Zish, we've built technology to solve that problem.
Wow. And so I assume these teachers come to your platform by word of mouth, I guess, because the product is great, and they're like, okay, well, we got to use this. What's your approach to this growth you're having?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's a couple of growth levers that we have at Zish. So we are fortunate, like you suggest, that we do have an army of teachers that recommend our product. We have between 500 and 1,000 teachers will sign up to the free version of our products every day. And so about 50% of our users will come from referrals from those teachers. Teachers will talk in the staff room. The other 50% or so actually come from it's quite interesting growth lever whereby I mentioned earlier that we have 1.5 million teacher created resources on our platform. Around 500,000 of those are indexed as separate pages by Google. And so if you're a teacher and you're searching for quality academic content, so I might be, for example, if I was in UK curriculum, I might, look for year 4 maths, fractions assessment, and then one of the pages that was surfaced on Google, especially if you're looking for online assessments, quizzes, that sort of thing, is likely to be ours. And that, that is multiplied 500,000 times and growing every day.
Mm.
and keeps coming up the rankings as we grow. So that's a real driver for us, and it's useful because it's really difficult for teachers to find good quality content, and so it's great that they can not only find it through ours, but it's also an entry point to discover more content and also to
Nice.
ultimately create their own.
It's great. So obviously, the with the startups and growth, there's always a team behind that makes things great. How do you motivate and inspire your team to achieve their best?
That was actually the start of a very motivating speech review. I can tell you're obviously a good a good team motivator. Yeah, it's a great question. I think founders are nothing without their team, and our team are just incredible. It's a group of people who are really passionate about education, a lot of technologists. And when we hire, it sort of starts at day one when we hire, when we're motivating people, because we only hire people that are passionate about our mission. It's not, if you take a step back and look at the business of what we do, it's actually not easy to sell to schools. But it can be done.
Yeah.
And it's education is a 6 trillion plus market. So it's a great market, but it's tough. And so you need to, at day one, have that real passion for the impact that you can have, um, as any of our team members, to move forward. And then that motivates us every day. So, we get feedback every day, just sort of tools and things like Net Promoter Score, but we'll get feedback every day, teachers giving us 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, saying exactly why they find us useful. And just you can get these little things that remind you why you do what you do. And that's really important. And I think to keep feeding that data back and making sure the team are constantly in communication with teachers, that they really care about the end user, that is really motivating. That's more motivating than, pizza and pool tables.
Yeah.
Actually making sure that every single day your team understands the impact
Yeah.
of what you're doing. And I'm lucky to have an amazing co-founder. I mean, we have great tech. My co-founder was Google's first tech hire outside the US, Oxford University PhD in AI. I couldn't really ask for for a better technical co-founder, to be honest. And I think, with him leading the team and knowing that we're actually building something good is helpful as well. When you believe in the product, that's incredibly motivating.
Yeah. Well, it's as a co-founder and a co-CEO of the company and as a leader in your company, um, what qualities do you believe are essential um, for having effective leadership?
Oh, that's a great question. I think humility.
Hmm.
Um, you as a leader, you need to understand, although you might be making the final decision, and that is important that that you can back yourself to do that. You kind of need to be humble enough to know that you're not a subject matter expert at everything.
Yeah.
So when we hire, you know, when my I think we have the best head of marketing. I think we have the best sales director, and they know more than me. So I think I'm humble enough to know that they know more than me. Thus, as a leader, my job is to um, support and enable and help them with some of the tough decisions, but also have that framework where these incredible people you've hired are able to back themselves to make the best decisions, and not for me to have any sort of ego that thinks that because I'm the boss, I make those decisions. And I think that's really important. Um, I'd say resilience. Building a startup is so hard. And I have seen Charles and I have been doing this together for 7 years now. And like I said, it still feels like we're at the beginning, honestly, and there's still so much, we've got great traction, but there's still so much of a way to go. And I honestly think 90% of people would have quit
Yeah.
by now. But instead, we wake up and we go, oh, this cool stuff's happened. This client signed up, this person said something about us, and we're still motivated. But you need that underlying grit and resilience. And I think thirdly, to be a good leader, I think you need to be willing to make the hard decisions. So when I say, when I sort of talked about not having an ego and having humility, that's different to still, to still being able to to make tough decisions, to be brave and make tough decisions. I think
Yeah.
you need to kind of combine humility with bravery, and that makes you a good leader.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it. What does innovation mean to you? And obviously, I've seen quite much of innovation happening from your side. So, give us that how that drives your company's growth.
Yeah, that is a great question. Innovation is such a broad term, isn't it? And I always think it's funny when you get, big companies, you'll have someone who's in charge of innovation. I think, I wonder what they do. Um, um, I think for us, it's innovation in our company certainly is being able to kind of constantly iterate and be reactive to things that people really need rather than, you know, rather than saying, this is our strategy for the year, this is our roadmap, this is what we're going to build. I think to be innovative, you need to be hypersensitive to your users, to the market, to what competitors, what your peers are doing, and you need to be like super agile to be able to kind of flip what you're doing, let things go, let things go, move off your path, move off your linear path and just be a little bit zigzaggy.
Yeah.
You're trying to reach the same end. For us, we're still trying to transform the learning of students. We're still trying to give teachers superpowers, take away their burden. But um, it's not a case of having a strategy meeting on January the 1st and then do it on December the 31st that year going, okay, great, we stuck to our plan. It's the opposite of that. Certainly for us, might be different in other organizations, and that's what I see all the time. I mean, we've got a great team, everyone, you have people sort of in sales feeding back what clients are saying. They might have heard something a competitors doing, a teacher going, we might talk to a teacher, they'll go, I wish I could do this, or a student has asked how to do this and I don't know. Being reactive to that in your development, that to me is innovation.
Yeah. Obviously, you also done quite an innovative approach, raising funds through crowdfunding, and I've seen a lot of the crowdfunding campaigns happens, in the area of the on a hard goods, in this case for yours, like more like a software. Um, Give us what motivated you to do the crowdfunding route for you.
I love crowdfunding. I for a number of reasons. Obviously, like it's the capital is useful, right? We do equity crowdfunding. We're not doing
Yeah.
rewards. I mean, there are rewards in some capacity, free tool subscriptions, but ultimately it's equity crowdfunding. We want equity in the business. I think that's people need to always remember that, you are doing it to raise money. However, um, it's a lot of work. And the reason it's worth that work is because when you crowdfund, you get 100, 200, 1,000 advocates for your business. And those are people that 90% of them you would never have met or never have connected with, but they all share your passion for education. People aren't investing in us because, they're obsessed with consumer facing fintech companies. Maybe they are as well, but I mean, I have one to account. But if you're putting your own hard-earned cash behind a company, you really care about their mission, and that's amazing because you just have thousands of advocates all over the world for your product, for your mission. And as a startup, I can only have I think 15 people globally in our team. Um, but I can't afford to hire another, I think what's 1,300 investors. I can't afford to hire another 1,300 people,
Yeah.
but I certainly love having them as our advocate in various countries and in various forms. And actually we have we're a very global company. Again, it's very difficult to prioritize probably more than two markets, I'd say, at any one time, but we have investors in 52 countries. So if an opportunity comes up that is amazing for us in another country that we would never have been able to find, connect with, understand, do the
Yeah.
research, do the lead generation.
And
Amazing, right? We
and
can
on
we can
top
go with
and
that.
on,
We
and
have
on
that
top of that,
for
they're
us.
also pray for you.
Yeah. That's true. You cannot underestimate,
You have hundreds of people praying
the
for you. So
spiritual force.
that's a power of prayers, you know. So Daisy,
Absolutely, that too.
Daisy, what does bold mean to you? Not bold words, but bold. The word bold.
The word bold. God, it means just doing things even when you're really frightened, to do it. I think I wake up every day, kind of, you know, I love my job, right?
Yeah,
happy to go to work. But there are a lot of slightly frightening or tough or uncertain decisions, and I think that being able to you harness your inner resource to overcome things that you're kind of frightened of and
yeah.
things that are uncertain and create that certain path for yourself and the people around you. That's what being bold is to me, and that's a work, but that's also with personal life and with friends and in the world in general.
Daisy, great. Thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on all your achievements. Congrats also being selected as top finalist at the Bold Awards 5th edition. We'll be seeing you guys in this Friday in H Farm in Venice. Thank you for joining me again, and I'll talk to you soon. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always.
Thank you, Effie. It's been a real pleasure. Take care.
Fantastic. Cheers.
Bye bye.